What's up, everyone? It's Caddy with MoneyVest. So, markets here are pushing higher yet another day, and this week has been a little bit more green than, of course, last week. Last week, the first week of 2024 was pretty much red, but the most important thing is that we've got inflation numbers coming out tomorrow. So, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, bright and early, I will be live to cover those CPI numbers for the month of December, and that's really what's going to dictate the market's reaction and where the markets end up going remainder of this week and of course going into next week. And we've got the PPI numbers coming out on Friday as well. So hope you all enjoy this video. Find it helpful. If you do, make sure that you drop a like. I would really appreciate that. And all I'm asking in return is that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining. And of course, getting access to all the members only private videos and getting access to all the spreadsheets, including my watch list and the fair values and the intrinsic values, as well as the 20 plus Discord channels, including trade alerts and buy and sell alerts, options alerts, trade ideas. Everything's going to be included with the link down below. And also do connect with me on Instagram. My handle is going to be CastWRP. I do post a lot of interesting stories, updates, kind of behind the scenes, portfolio updates, all that kind of stuff over on Instagram as well. So definitely do connect with me there. Link's going to be down below. So Dow Jones up 0.5%, S&P up 0.5%, and NASDAQ up over 75 basis points, approaching around 15,000 points on the NASDAQ here. So Dow closes more than 150 points higher Wednesday on the key inflation numbers that are coming out. So this is Philip Colmar, managing partner and global strategist at MRB Partners. He says, and I quote, "We are in this calm before the realization, and right now the markets are pretty quiet, but I don't think it'll be quiet all year. We've fully priced this Goldilocks soft landing scenario. What's next? It's probably no landing, which means the bond yields are probably not going to stay as anchored as they are. Some of those rate cuts have come back out, and then volatility comes back into the equity markets, and then it's not a buy everything rally that we saw at the year end. Investors await the latest consumer price index report slated for release Thursday. An economist polled by Dow Jones expect CPI rose 3.2% year over year in December. So, of course, these are going to be those expectations where headline CPI year over year expected to increase at 3.2%. Core CPI, which is ex food and energy, at 3.8%, and month over month consensus is 0.2% each for both headline CPI and core CPI as well. This right here is going to be the entire heat map. So we've got Meta hitting a new 52-week high at over $370, up over 3.65%. Amazon also rallying a little bit. Google pushing up. NVDA with breaking out to another new all-time high. Microsoft and Apple also moving higher. Apple, we took a trade on Apple earlier in the week, so definitely do check out the links down below if you want to get access to all those alerts and ideas. But I do believe Apple has potential to get up to 190. Right now it's trading at 186. Picked it up at around 183. Should have been buying it at 180s, but of course it was at that 200 simple moving average, now showing very, very good signs of potential move back up. Now, this right here is going to be, of course, the entire market. So Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, Google, Meta, Amazon. So all the big tech, all the Magnificent Seven stocks pushing higher except for Tesla, which was slightly lower. And in the last one day, of course, there's been a little bit of that split rally with real estate and utilities and materials and energy seeing a little bit of a pullback and not the best gains. Energy and materials have been the sectors that have underperformed the most in the last 1 week, and in the last 1 month, of course, it's all 11 sectors that are pushing higher. So very, very nice move to the upside for all 11 sectors here. And of course, on futures and commodity side, we got palladium, soybean, we got soybean cocoa, soybean oil, feeder cattle, copper, all pushing higher with the sugar prices, coffee, orange juice, ethanol, all pulling back as well. And Bitcoin here a little bit over 46,000 and Ether just over 2,600 as well, with a very nice strong rally coming in. So going over to some of the important indicators. So volatility here continues to slide lower as markets continue to drift higher. So down about 70 basis points, a little bit under 13. And again, we're coming back down to inside this red rectangle, inside this red sort of zone, which we have talked about, where the volatility, if it stays low long enough, eventually there is going to be a potential spike, which may create the markets in this uncertain and volatile environment, pulling right back down, similar to what has happened in the past. Again, this is not a prediction. This is simply an expectation that if it happens, we are going to be ready. Not that it is going to happen and we need to be ready, but if it happens, we are going to be ready for the markets and for us to deploy cash and capital and start dollar cost averaging and be more aggressive once again. Right now, considering the markets are drifting higher and higher, all I'm doing is sitting back, enjoying the profits and selling calls to hedge my potential downsides and collecting premiums along the way as volatility continues to drop back down and continues to be a little bit more muted at these levels. Ethereum breaking out to over 2,600. So very nice move to the upside. Bitcoin here also at over 46, almost $47,000. This right here is going to be that resistance area inside this red rectangle between 48 and $51,000. And as we have already discussed, of course, Ether is also breaking out to the upside at 2,600. Crude oil, on the other hand, consolidating sideways in that range. So this right here is going to be a very, very strong area of resistance and an area that we have been tracking and watching very closely. $70 to $73 per barrel is going to be that level, and support level is going to stay put at $66, $67 per barrel for crude oil at the moment. So lots of consolidation sideways at those levels. And again, like I said, support level is going to stay put at $66, $67, and resistance is going to stay put at $73, $74 a barrel for crude oil. Talking about the 10-year treasuries and yields, I did a video on this earlier today, so definitely do check that out if you haven't already. But the 10-year treasuries have continued to drop further, and we have seen, of course, from a peak of over 5%, a drop of over 20% for the yields to settle in at just over 4%. And inflation continues to show signs of continuing declines, which we are going to find out tomorrow, along with some softening in the labor market. Then there is potential for the 10-year yields to drop further on the back of those rate cuts from the central banks and the Federal Reserve. However, if inflation starts to reaccelerate, which I also believe, and I should have been clear in my previous video, that I do not think it is a high probability outcome. I don't think that inflation is going to start reaccelerating back up. So in that scenario, if it happens, even though it's a low probability outcome, only then I expect the yields to once again start recovering back up to over 4.5% to as much as 5% if the Federal Reserve decides that they don't want to cut rates as aggressively as what the market's pricing in, and they keep rates steady or start to maybe even increase them again. But like I said, that is going to be a very low probability outcome. I do believe that rates are going to either settle in at around low threes, which is going to be 3.25 to 3.5%, to as much as 4%. So this is going to be a level to watch right now. But eventually, towards the end of this year, over the course of 2024, I do expect for the yields to maybe drop a few points lower, as there is going to be some rate cuts priced in, and the Federal Reserve is going to be pretty adamant in eventually cutting rates when inflation is already back down to their target. Now, going over to the markets, S&P 500 first, seeing very nice recovery back up. We're almost at an all-time high. 4,800 is the level, and I have no doubt that after the inflation numbers, it is possible that the market just trades back up to all-time highs, sees a rip all the way up to breaking out to a new all-time high either tomorrow or Friday. So we'll be covering that live. So again, definitely do check us out at 8 a.m. Eastern. I will be live to cover the inflation numbers. And of course, resistance is going to be at 4814, 4,800 pretty much. And that's going to be the all-time high. NASDAQ, on the other hand, also bouncing very nicely off of that support. And of course, the near-term resistance is going to be 15,500. So this right here is going to be that level to watch and keep in mind, all the way up to 15,400. So those right there are going to be a couple resistances, couple levels to watch for. NASDAQ and support level is going to stay put at 14,400 to 14,600 as well. So this right here, again, a very, very strong area of support to watch for the NASDAQ. Talking about Apple, and Apple here also seeing a very nice recovery from that 200 simple moving average. So not a surprise. We talked about this on our Discord and in my previous videos that this is probably one of the best times for us to see a little bit of a risk reward trade on Apple, considering how oversold it is. So you can see, take a look at the RSI, take a look at the MACD, the price itself trading at that 200 SMA. So there is potential upside of about 5 to as much as 10% if Apple gets up to 190 to as much as 198. So that's really the trade plan, and we'll continue to follow that along. And if it ends up dropping down to 160s, of course, I will be a lot more aggressive when it comes to Apple and dollar cost averaging. Amazon also recovering very, very nicely. So 155 is going to be that resistance. So this right here is going to be that level to watch for Amazon. Next target all the way up to 161 for the company if it ends up breaking out outside of 155. So 161 is going to be that next resistance. Support level is going to stay put at $148 all the way down to as low as 143 for Amazon. Of course, lots of consolidation. RSI MACD also showing some signs of that potential move back up for Amazon. Talking about Tesla. And Tesla here continues to be a little bit more volatile, not really participating in this entire rally, in this entire move higher, and has been selling off for 2 consecutive weeks. So last week it was down. This week, I believe it's also down about 1.5%. So definitely underperforming the entire market. And 200 SMA is going to stay put at that support at around 231. Resistance all the way up to 241 to as much as 270 to as much as 300. So we've already talked about there's a lot of supply areas for Tesla that it needs to break out of before we can see some real momentum, some real rallies for Tesla once again. But right now, of course, getting rejected and struggling at the moment at some of those levels. And support level is going to stay put inside this green rectangle. That's going to be kind of at that very strong area of demand, somewhere between 200 and 210 for Tesla. Talking about NVIDIA, and NVIDIA here breaking out to a new all-time high at over $546. Market cap now slowly and steadily approaching 1.4 trillion. We talked about this ascending triangle with a very, very strong breakout to the upside. It's up over 15% from those levels and a very, very nice break to the upside for NVIDIA. So that being said, and, as we already know, valuations, we've talked about it. There's been a CES, Consumer Electronics Expo, going on where both AMD, NVIDIA, a lot of other chip makers and semiconductor companies are participating in that conference. And as a result, there is a lot of momentum created along the lines of artificial intelligence once again, and chips and semis. So very nice breakout. Congratulations to anyone who's been trading or investing in NVIDIA or semiconductors in general. Very, very strong move to the upside. Just got to be careful here with the RSI, the MACD, the valuation, the price action itself. What goes up does come down, so there is something that we have to be aware of. AMD, on the other hand, seeing a little bit of that resistance again at around these levels at close to 150. Support level is going to stay put $130, $131 per share, so lots of consolidation sideways in between that range for advanced micro devices, and resistance all the way up to 156. That's going to be that next target and that next level to watch for advanced micro devices. Support level is going to stay put at 131 for the company, all the way down to $112 per share. So this right here is going to be that next level to watch in case we see a much bigger, much broader sell-off for advanced micro devices. The next one on the list is going to be Meta Platforms. In fact, first is going to be PayPal. So PayPal here on the day, just a lot of consolidation. Support level is going to stay put at $56, $57. So this right here is going to be that level to watch with a resistance all the way up to $65 per share for PayPal. So again, this is the consolidation, lots of downtrend, lower highs and lower lows, and support level, like I said, is going to stay put at 56 with a resistance at $65 at the moment. Visa hitting a new all-time high at 265, kind of tapping on to its higher high here. So this right here is the overall uptrend, and now it's coming up to that higher high. So we'll find out eventually whether it starts to pull right back down from these levels or not. There is a little bit of that negative divergence, so got to be very careful with Visa here, especially if you are going long at these prices or buying at these prices. I would encourage you to think twice, considering how much it's already rallied, how overbought, overextended the price action is, and how much it's already moved up in the last several weeks. So I believe that it's not unusual for us to see a bit of a pullback for Visa, considering how much it's already moved up and the condition of the technicals here. Meta Platforms, very, very strong breakout, $370 here, and next resistance and target is going to be $383 per share. So this right here is going to be that next level to watch, and it's almost recovered back up to its all-time highs. So that is absolutely incredible. The rally, the momentum, everything that we have witnessed for Meta. Congratulations for everyone who's been trading, investing, and believed in this company, had the conviction to stand steady, hold on when everybody was saying sell, 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 when everybody was having all this fear, uncertainty, and doubt around Meta Platforms. And again, people who have high conviction in very high quality companies that continue to perform are going to be rewarded well for their patience eventually. So congratulations, very, very strong move to the upside for Meta. 383 is going to be that next resistance and target. Support level is going to stay put at 352, all the way down to, of course, inside this green rectangle in the 320s and 330s. Talking about Netflix here. And Netflix here also consolidating sideways, so lots of sideways price action. Resistance is going to stay put at 45 to as much as $495 per share. So this right here is going to be a level to keep in mind for Netflix. And again, in the past, we have gone rejected at those levels, and support level is going to stay put at 450, kind of in line with this previous resistance, potentially acting as a new support for Netflix. So that is going to be pretty much the range within which Netflix is trading at the moment. Talking about Google, and Google here also pushing up over 87 basis points, seeing a breakout to the upside beyond this level of 144. Next target and resistance going to be staying put at close to 150, so that is going to be that next level to watch for Google. That's the next target and resistance. Support level is going to stay put over here now, so we're going to go ahead and turn this level into a new support for Google at close to $144 per share, all the way down to $140 for Google as well. So that right there is going to be that range, very strong support, resistance all the way up to 150 for Google. Talking about Microsoft, and Microsoft here also with a very strong breakout of almost 2%, absolutely getting ripped higher here. Next resistance and target is going to be 384 to 385. So that is going to be that level to watch, and support level is going to stay put at 366 for Microsoft. So lots of consolidation sideways in that range for the company. And again, we've talked about this resistance at 384 with a, of course, very strong support here at 366 for Microsoft. And finally, we got Enphase and Costco. So if you take a look at Enphase here, you'll notice, again, a very, very nice move up 41 basis points. It's also rallied quite a bit as the yields have continued to come down. But recently, as yields have kind of stabilized a little bit and they're starting to rotate back higher, we have seen, of course, Enphase pull right back down from its highs of 140. It's dropped about 19-20%, but it's now stabilizing at that low 100s, 120s support. So inside this green rectangle, and resistance is going to stay put at 132 all the way up to 151 for Enphase. And finally, Costco, on the other hand, continues to move up with a very strong breakout above 672. It continues to absolutely defy gravity. Very overbought RSI, negative divergence, a little bit overbought MACD here. Price action's gone parabolic, lots of consolidation, starting to see a bit of a breakout here. And there are no signs of any serious profit taking or pullbacks for Costco at the moment. So that's where we are with the entire market. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got the very, very important inflation numbers coming out, so we will be live to cover those. Definitely do check out my Instagram, connect with me there. Handle's going to be CastWRP, and join our Patreon and our Discord with members-only videos, Excel spreadsheets, and Discord channels. Everything is going to be available with the link down below as well. We'd love to have you on board. 16% annual discount that's available for a few more days. There's, I think, 2 more spots left for the month of January. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.